He and I had talked in the past that we probably, because of our sales training has slipped because of COVID, then we grew like massively and we couldn't really go back to the way we did before. We had talked about the value of potentially using Cardone University to sales train. And so it was, I don't know, maybe at this point 5 or 6 weeks ago, less than a month, probably about a month before GrowthCon, that I had a call scheduled to discuss getting Cardone University for the company. They were trying to negotiate the deal and throw in some tickets to various events, and Taylor just whispers into my ear when I'm on the call, he's like, see if they'll give us tickets to GrowthCon. But I was like, that does sound kind of fun.
He literally is like a modern day version of Bruce Wayne, pulling up in his $500,000 cars and, I mean, wherever he wants to.
What do you think of the boat?
It's big.
It's a big boat. Our room was facing towards the ocean, and on multiple occasions on the first day, helicopters go back and forth all the time, but on multiple occasions, it's the Grant Cardone helicopter, and it says GC on the side, 10X underneath. Like, it's surreal. You're like, this guy's lifestyle is just insane. And the only time you had a break was your only chance to try to meet anybody.
Was lunch.
Yeah, it was lunch. And you do actually want to try to meet people there, because like, these people are actually doing something and have some oomph in their business. It was overwhelming. I would go down much more mentally prepared next time.
Yeah, that was definitely fast-paced, and I like fast-paced. This was one of those where I was just like, bro, I just need 20 minutes mid-morning. Give me a lunch. 20 minutes later, I gotta check my emails in there.
Yeah, I'm not looking for big, long breaks in there, but just like you had to step out on some speaker if you were ever going to take a leak, even. There is no margin for error or break or whatever. It is the most 10x nonstop thing. Just the marketing genius of Grant Cardone and all of his businesses. The fact that all of them have the name Cardone in them, the way they're branded, the way they complement each other, the way they cross, like, I don't know, it's genius. It's absolute genius. It's obnoxious at times sometimes because they try to sell everything, but I would expect nothing less from Grant Cardone. But I had to respect the hell out of it. So when I got in a room of what are arguably 2,000 of the most aggressive, forward-thinking, high-level achievers in the world. I mean, like, if you're going to travel to the first conference, arguably in the world since COVID hit, it says a certain amount about who you are and what you're about.
And then add the fact that it's a sales and marketing conference.
Exactly, it's sales and marketing. And to realize how rare it is to have achieved the level that we achieved, I mean, be like, wow, okay, that's really cool. That makes me feel good. But then you would hear all these billionaires on the stage who, most of them, from a resume level, had no business becoming billionaires. Like the story of Glenn Stearns. Like, he was a mortgage broker for 9 months when he quit and started Stearns Lending. Like, who starts a business off of 9 months of experience? Well, he ended up selling that, I think, for $500 million, and then started another one. He's probably worth $1 billion at this point. Anyway, what it showed me is that none of these people really knew what they were doing. And although I know what I'm doing to a degree, there's always that small voice in the back of my head that I didn't get the right education. I don't have an MBA. I'm not following a formula. It showed me there is no formula. And all these people that built billion-dollar companies, and I liked what Jesse Itzler, I still don't know how to say his name. I like the way he said it. He said, we were building the plane as we were flying it. It showed me there is no formula.
Fire shit, that keep reaching higher, that eye of the tiger shit, that decide what you want, then write down a plan, then hold yourself hostage till you meet all your demands. You can't run from it. Everywhere you go, there you are, it all connects. I'm Jesse Itzler, Grant Cardone.
Like we were making it up as we go. And when I saw that that's the way we do it here and has succeeded, that's actually the formula for all these billion-dollar companies. And the fact that we've made it so much further than everybody else, I was like, these big-ass visions that we have, I think we're actually going to do them. Because it's about execution, it's about belief, and we have such an amazing team here. Like, we're really going to do this. And that's what got me fired up.
First and foremost, I think you need to be surrounded by great people. I've always believed that to achieve any level of success, whether it be in business, whether it be in sports, whether it be in life, that requires great people around you. That requires great mentorship.
One of the first videos I ever listened to, Grant talks about growing up in Lake Charles, Louisiana, his dad dying, him and his twin brother, both ended up in sales in different industries, but Grant became a millionaire by the age of 30 selling cars at a dealership. He sold cars, he worked for somebody else, he found his vehicle, and then that made him his money. And so I just looked at that I never even thought that was even a possibility. So then now it transformed my thinking into the standpoint of, how do I find my vehicle? How do I find the industry that I care about? And something that when I wake up every single day, I can put in 10, 12, 18 hours, 20 hours in a day, and it doesn't feel like work. And once I get there, over time, eventually the money will just become a byproduct. And so that was, he was the first one, I talk about, Gary Vee and Simon Sinek and all these different people, but like he was the first one who really broke down that math that made the idea of ever being able to achieve greatness touchable to somebody who grew up, poor, multiple siblings, lived on food stamps most of his life, never even had a shot at going to college unless I paid for it myself. I didn't even think that was possible. So in the grand scheme of things, did Grant Cardone affect me? Absolutely. And it was multiple points over the course of the year, but it was just a simple video of him breaking down $1 million that started that transition of that thought.
The impact he had on your life, was there any special impact for you the first time you saw him in person? You're like, that's the dude. That's the dude that changed the way, made it click for me.
I wouldn't necessarily say it wasn't like, oh, I'm in awe of him. It was weird. It was like a long lost uncle, he called himself Uncle G. And so, but it's just like, I'm like, that's Uncle G. I'm in the same room with him. It was weird meeting Jared for the first time. I've talked to Jared multiple times over the course of the years, on and off through social. It was like meeting like a distant uncle or cousin. There was a huge familiar aspect to it. I've digested so much of his books and his videos, and like he may know who I am, but it's a different relationship. So
Totally.
that's a little bit weird as far as that goes. I feel like I could walk up to him and be like, "What's up, bro?" he'd be like, "I think I know you, but you have to jog my memory." We have the marketing aspects, that really tied to what most people know Gary Vee for, but we're also a very sales oriented organization, and so it's really cool in retrospect to look back of like we literally have taken what I would consider the best parts of both machines and tried to overlay it on our business.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who can lean one way or the other on those different individuals for different purposes, and I actually think that they're both special in their own regard.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that we've done an amazing job of making it our own. We're not fanboys of one camp or another. We're like, man, these guys are really like this, I really like that. We're gonna take this, we're gonna make it our own. We're gonna take it with the Rocky Mountain was here beforehand, and we created ourselves, and I really like that.
Well, it's one of those things, and he's right. Throughout the different speakers, regardless of their background, their vertical they were in, their story, everybody kept talking about the same thread of we get a little bit bigger and we hit another problem. We just figure out how to solve it. Get a little bit bigger, hit another problem, figure out how to solve it. Get a little bit bigger, find another problem, figure out how to solve it.
Sorry, I'm trying to make him laugh.
The fact that he's got that grin on there doesn't help either.